No, and obviously it's taken me a long time to speak out about the Sussex squad. I've known about their tactics for a long time.
What?
But after what happened to me, and then seeing Harry and Meghan on the world stage, constantly talking about wanting social networks to crack down on trolling and crack down on disinformation. Well, Angela, my investigation shows that the Sussex squad are actually the biggest purveyors of disinformation, the biggest spreaders of trolling.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Of the internet age. They're the worst, nastiest group online.
It's absolutely astonishing. I was astonished when I read it. Except there's a sort of part of it when you realize that they are determined to win, determined to
bring down their enemies. And you are now one of the enemies.
Yeah, right.
And I am one of the enemies. And so Piers Morgan.
I like to think more they want to bring down the royal family. I don't want it directly at me, it may be right, but bring down the royal family, get rid of the press, no more newspapers, and all that. Control it. So that's his thing that he wants to do forever, to get control of it. As he's, hundreds, thousands of miles away, it doesn't make any sense. They're keeping on going back and back and back to court. The last one, cost out, which he lost, was £500,000 it cost us. The taxpayer.
Yes, in his battle with the Home Office. No, he's obsessed. He's obsessed, and it's an unhealthy obsession. And he's on the internet himself. He hides behind fake profiles himself. So the whole thing is very, very ironic. You've just said something, though, which is actually a far more critical point, and I want to delve into it more with you.
Okay.
Because my understanding is the same as you. This is actually bigger than the media. He wants to help bring down the British royal family and the Commonwealth. That's an extraordinary situation for someone who is fifth in line to the throne, for someone whose father is king.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Whose brother is the next king. What is it, Angela? Is it because he can't have it, he doesn't want anyone else to have it? Or has there been a fundamental change in his belief about whether the monarchy should exist? Because if so, surely he should be giving up those titles that he uses all the time.
Fact.
I think he believes, and this might surprise you or not, that Meghan is the one who should take over.
As queen?
Yeah.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So he would want to be king?
I don't know. I think he might be an aide, but I think he feels he adores her so much, which is very nice. He does what he's told. And he thinks that it was very bad that she wasn't questioned about what should be done to make the royal family more up to date. And she said herself that she felt that they should have asked her what should be done rather than Kate, because she is a self-made woman and she's got much more experience. Now, that's a killer sentence.
What do you mean by that?
It really is. I often think about the late Queen, though, and the fact that she entrusted Harry and Meghan with protecting her beloved Commonwealth. And they told her that they had that shared belief. You'll remember the Commonwealth was even stitched into Meghan's wedding dress, for example. And now they use their platform and their media platforms to try and degrade the Commonwealth as some sort of racist, colonial, terrible reflection on Britain. That's Harry directly doing down the late Queen's life work.
What do you mean by that?
A more critical point, and I want to delve into it more with you because my understanding is the same as you.
Are you sure about that?
This is actually bigger than the media. He wants to help bring down the British royal family and the Commonwealth. That's an extraordinary situation for someone who is fifth in line to the throne.
Boy.
For someone whose father is king, whose brother is the next king. What is it, Angela? Is it because he can't have it, he doesn't want anyone else to have it? Or has there been a fundamental change in his belief about whether the monarchy should exist? Because if so, surely he should be giving up those titles that he uses all the time.
Really, nigga?
I think he believes, and this might surprise you or not, that Meghan is the one who should take over.
As queen.
Yeah.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
So he would want to be king.
I don't know. I think he might be an aide, but I think it would. I think he feels he adores her so much, which is very nice. He does what he's told, and he thinks that it was very bad that she wasn't questioned about what should be done to make the royal family more up to date.
Women.
And she said herself that she felt that they should have asked her what should be done rather than Kate, because she is a self-made woman and she's got much more experience. Now, that's a killer sentence.
Yes, exactly.
It really is. I often think about the late Queen, though, and the fact that she entrusted Harry and Meghan with protecting her beloved Commonwealth. And they told her that they had that shared belief. You'll remember the Commonwealth was even stitched into Meghan's wedding dress, for example.
Wow.
And now they use their platform and their media platforms to try and degrade the Commonwealth as some sort of racist, colonial, terrible reflection on Britain. That's Harry directly doing down the late Queen's life work.
Oh, Lord. Again.
Is it
Yes,
not?
but I think it's Meghan who must encourage him. I find it difficult to think that she doesn't, because he does what he's told. And if she thought it was a very good idea, then he would do it.
Nice.
I mean, she
Is he a
has
smart guy?
destroyed. She's destroyed all around all sorts of things. Her own family. It's only her mother was there at the wedding. All these things. You're not interested in her father, and yet she says compassion is very important to her. It's difficult to understand what she means about that when she won't even do anything now he's very ill. And I think that, you know, the African parks are in a terrible state. And there, Harry was in a very senior position there. And now he's on the next grade down.
What do you mean by that?
And the people who are there in the parks are raping and fighting and humiliating people who just wander in it. And Harry's done nothing. I mean, he was a senior for quite some years, but he's still on the cards of running this. And it's very concerning that he doesn't seem to have done anything.
Stop it. Get some help.
And he jolly well should have done. I don't think that he's too busy to handle that. But he picks and chooses what he wants to do. It's very upsetting because he was very popular in the Commonwealth and everybody liked him. You know, he was such a lively, happy guy.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Who enjoyed being with people like that. And he...
Well, yeah, but his focus now seems to be leaning into others in the Commonwealth who don't believe in the Commonwealth. So, for example, the Jamaican Prime Minister, who is a massive Republican and is against the royal family, and Harry and Meghan are going to spend time with this guy.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yes, he might be against the royal family, but I think he's going to stay in with the group. You know, they all meet Every year there's over 50 of them that do. And King Charles doesn't mind at all if they want to be independent. He doesn't want to keep them hanging on. He realizes that life moves on.
Fact.
And he doesn't mind at all, but he thinks that it's nice if people can talk and share questions about things that bother them. And I think that that's still going to happen.
Are you sure about that?
But if it was done, if they went to be with him, to just show how more powerful they are, to show that they can actually smash things, because if they get him on board, it makes it more difficult for the royal family. I think it's dreadful, but I don't know that that's absolutely what they were going to do.
Sobbing over mundane things like bridesmaid dresses. He really believes that she's a person that's in pain. No, this is a 40-year-old woman who manipulated her way from the bottom to the top by marrying somebody who was the producer on the show, who gave her her start in life, then divorcing him and finding a prince that is too thick to see what everybody else in the entire world can see. And of course, by the way, he's got an incredible memory when it comes to his conversations with Meg. He's got an incredible memory about every instance that he and Willie have a bang up and a mash up, and every time that they exchange words. But during a particular phone call in which Willie clearly laid out for him why he disliked Meghan, point by point by point, explaining to him how rude she had been to people that worked at the palace, how rude she had been to Kate. Harry, his memory just goes foggy. He says he's too tired to remember what Willie had even said on the phone. He was just too exhausted. He doesn't remember anything that Willie said in that entire discussion.
Are you serious?
That disallows us to then assess whether or not Willie maybe had some points about the fact that he was concerned that his brother was going to marry someone that everyone thinks is a sociopathic narcissist. He can't remember that part. It's too foggy. All he remembers from that conversation,
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
are that her tears were glistening. Meghan overheard it, and her tears were glistening as she held her belly, and she was pregnant before she threatened to kill her unborn child. So, yeah, it goes on and on with how many times we learn that Meghan cried and was in a heap and was in a puddle, and I think we're supposed to feel bad for her. And Harry, I think by the end of this book, you're supposed to realize that Harry is just a really sad, unfortunate person. Because he was born to give a spare kidney to his brother, something that just so factually, listen, that conversation never happened.
Fact.
Okay? It just never, the bone marrow discussion never happened. You're supposed to feel bad for him. And I'm going to tell you how I actually feel about him. I think Harry is the worst kind of person that this planet has to offer. There is something about betraying family members to me that completely sickens me. But doing it for profit puts him on another level. He wants to keep bringing up his mother.
Are you serious?
Because he is now using his mother as a shield, right? He's basically saying, I am allowed to be an awful human being. I am allowed to sell out my nieces, my nephews, my brother, my father, my stepmother, even my dead mother, because that's what he's doing in this book. He's using his mother's death to shield himself and to earn himself millions in America, a death that he said he wasn't impacted by. He admits he doesn't remember much about the death at all. But now, because he wants to have memories about it, just like he can start his life off as a multimillionaire in America, right? He basically says, you can't judge me because I suffered something, which was obviously very tragic. Any person that loses a relative, a mother, a father, a grandparent, is always very tragic. And with this much publicity, of course it was very tragic. He suffered a tragedy. But he wants you to believe that because he has suffered this tragedy, he is allowed to be a bad person. That's what he is. Prince Harry is a bad person. He's rotten to his core.
Stop it.
Okay? He will do anything for money. He is a prostitute, right? He is prostituting himself out right now in Los Angeles, going around talking about his family members for profit while trying to convince you that the reason that he's doing
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
it is because they spoke to the press not for profit, right? But for their reputation. He's saying they did it to salvage their reputation. So I'm doing it openly for profit. I'm going to sit down with the press that I purport to hate. I want you to believe that I hate the press so much because they took my mom from me, but also that I am colluding with them every single day to make more money. There is a special place in hell reserved for people like Prince Harry. I honestly believe that. He is despicable. I can't even look at him. He's relegated to beyond the D list when it comes to my feelings personally towards him. His wife, in the same way that he has mined this tragedy from his childhood and is using it to shield himself, his wife, who never once ever mentioned throughout her entire life and career that she was black, definitely would never think that she was black if you looked at her. Nobody had any idea she was black. But when she decided that she wanted to be a rotten individual and do something bad,
Okay.
it became beneficial for her to suddenly start being black, right? She had not a single black relative outside of her mother at her own wedding. Unless you count Oprah, who's not a relative at all, but was someone that she was about to sell her husband's family down the river to, right? She had Oprah and Gayle King at her wedding. Those were her two black friends, her black billionaire friends that she had at the wedding. None of her black family members. Now all of a sudden she wants you to know, at the ripe age of 40, she had decided to take a DNA test to figure out just how Nigerian am I?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Am I Nigerian enough that I can go out and talk horribly about my new husband's family, that I can speak down to Kate Middleton, that I can trash Charlotte, that I can say and drop hints that the royal family is racist?
You serious?
That they asked questions about my unborn son's skin color? Can I do all of that and then say, oh, but I'm black and it's because of racism, so you guys have to be on my side, right? She's literally the most racist person featured in this book is Meghan, because she only decided to be black when she realized that she could rake in millions by being black.
Fact.
At the very end of her actress career, it became important for her to talk about how black she was as she sat in Frogmore Cottage, plotting with her despicable husband how they were going to leave the royal family and have nobody bat an eye. And it was easy. They were just going to say they left because of racism. You are both rotten to your core, and other people might be fearful to say that because they have realized your shields are powerful. You've got Princess Diana, and you've got being black. I'm not fearful to say it. I really do believe that you guys are going to get it as good as you get, as good as you give it. I wish somebody would sue you for defamation, because I would love for somebody to pursue the information about how long these two were in talks with Netflix and in talks with Oprah. Because I will tell you, it was while they were in the royal family. They were plotting all of this. They were plotting this, filming themselves. It is so obvious. But you know,
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
the royal family is not going to sue you for defamation. So instead, I am just going to call you guys both out for being terrible individuals. And I implore my listeners to allow this to be the only thing that you do as far as it goes to reading this book. Let it be just this podcast that you listen to and you get the gist of it. The gist is that an overprivileged brat is selling out his family so that he can make millions.
Fact.
And that's all I have to say about that. All right, guys, the next portion of the show is going to be available exclusively on Daily Wire Plus. I'm going to be answering, am I the asshole questions from Reddit.